Right now, tonight at 5 on WHAS 11 News, body camera video coming out of Florida today. It's the arrest of Ron Exantis, the admitted Kentucky child killer, arrested for violating his supervised release in Florida. The outrage now coming in from Florida police and the governor.
The scene from the air, the devastating and deadly explosion in Tennessee. A plant that makes military explosives is flattened in a huge tragedy that started this morning. Several people are now believed to be dead.
Also ahead tonight, a Kentucky lawmaker wants ultra-processed foods out of the school cafeterias. They are the foods that are common all around us. The mandate he's proposing to require school districts to make changes in just a couple of years. First at 5 o'clock, we want to bring you the very latest on this horrible scene. This explosion 50 miles west of Nashville, Tennessee this morning. Several people are dead. 19 people still reported as missing at this hour, according to ABC News. It happened at an explosives manufacturing plant that makes explosives for the military. The explosion occurring this morning at Accurate Energetic Systems in McEwen, Tennessee.
Have you had a chance to see the building, and can you describe it?
Can I describe the building? There's nothing to describe. It's gone.
Situation there, the local sheriff saying there are some fatalities, though he did not provide a specific number. The company, again, making explosives devices for the military, aerospace, demolition, and mining industries, according to their website. Now we move to the case of the man who admitted to killing a 6-year-old boy in central Kentucky in 2015. Released early from prison here, Ron Exantis arrested in Florida, and the sheriff in Florida holding a news conference today. He's not happy.
Exantis was rearrested in Florida yesterday and will soon be sent back to Kentucky. He violated his supervised release in Florida. And keep in mind, it's important to note, the Kentucky Parole Board voted for several years to keep him in prison. Since the release, members of the Parole Board have been getting violent death threats being investigated by Kentucky State Police.
Meantime, since the weekend, the White House says it's investigating this case, and the Florida governor has weighed in. WHAS 11's Ian Hardwick talked directly with the Florida sheriff today involved in this. And Ian, is Exantis back in Kentucky yet?
As of this morning, the Marion County Sheriff's Office said Exantis was in jail in Stripes in Florida. That's where Exantis chose to spend his supervised release, but he will be sent back to Kentucky after failing to register as a felon.
Put your hands behind your back, Ron.
Yes, sir.
That's Ronald Exantis,
What's going on?
appearing confused by his arrest at the hands of the Marion County Sheriff's Office in Florida.
Looking into his case, we realized that he had failed to do one thing, and that was register here as a felon.
Exantis arrived in Florida for supervised release on October 6th, now facing extradition back to Kentucky. He admitted to killing 6-year-old Logan Tipton in Versailles in Kentucky one late night in 2015. A jury found Exantis not guilty of murder by reason of insanity. However, Exantis was convicted of felony assault for stabbing Tipton's father and sisters. Florida Corrections told Exantis he needed to register with the sheriff in Marion Oaks.
The very top that I've highlighted up here, it says you will register within 48 hours at the Marion County Sheriff's Office. His signature at the bottom of that, so he recognized and acknowledged that.
Good behavior, education credits, and time spent in jail on trial shaved over a decade off Exantis' 20-year prison sentence. He qualified for mandatory re-entry supervision, which let him out 6 months early and required that he stay in Florida, his choice.
Do you think he was trying to fly under the radar by not registering with the sheriff's office?
Whatever his reason was for that, we don't know. And we don't care, to be honest with you. Don't care what his reason was. You just didn't do it. But he chose Florida. I think he has family here. There's family there at the house. So that may have been his reasoning for choosing Marion County specifically.
Now that choice leading Exantis back to Kentucky soon, but state officials won't say when.
Under the Safer Kentucky Act, Exantis would have served at least 17 years, but he was convicted before that law passed. A new push for Logan's Law will come next legislative session. It would require people found insane in court to be released into psychiatric facilities. In studio, I'm Ian Hardwick for WHAS 11 on your side.
Ian, thank you. This case is not only being followed by the White House, but by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Right at 11 o'clock last night, he sent out this message on social media using a derogatory term for DeSantis, but also saying it's unbelievable that he, quote, was let out of prison in Kentucky after serving a mere fraction of his sentence for murdering a 6-year-old child. New tonight at 5, we've learned new information today about the Manual High School teacher who's been arrested. Now under federal investigation, accused in several child sex abuse charges, 51-year-old Brian Hines, a theater teacher at Manual High School's Youth Performing Arts School, WHAS, is accused of distributing child sexual abuse material to a law enforcement officer working online undercover. Police say Hines admitted yesterday to both sending and receiving material through online messaging apps. Police say they have not identified any victims. That is a current or former student at Manual. Parents will be notified if that changes. If convicted, he faces anywhere from 5 to 40 years in prison.
Well, you can't get much better than tonight's weather for Friday Night Football, huh?
It's going to be a night where you just want to stay out late. Because
right.
You've got, I think, the supermoon going to illuminate all those football fields, Connie.
All right. Well, meteorologist Julie Martin joins us now with a look at that. Great weather, Julie.
Couldn't ask for better football weather. In fact, we are at 69 degrees right now at the airport, 68 at Bowman. That dew point is low at 42%, so it's very comfortable, very fall-esque outside, and it's going to stay that way throughout the evening. That's great news for those football games. Our game of the week, St. Xavier at DuPont Manual at 7:30. Kickoff looks good at 65 degrees, pleasant weather conditions. And then at halftime, we're going to fall back to around 60. We'll likely get in the 50s, though, the high 50s before that game ends. So do take a sweatshirt or a jacket if you're heading out there to cheer on your team. But a beautiful weekend setting up. If you like fall weather, you're in luck. Right now, our satellite and radar just showing us a few clouds out there, and that's about it. And we'll stay dry actually over the next several days. Not expecting any rainfall until maybe late next week. I'll talk more about that coming up in my full forecast in just a moment, Connie and Doug.
All right. Thank you so much, Julie. Well, U of L President Jerry Bradley was officially inaugurated as the university's 20th president today.
Well, he's been on the job since March. That's when his nomination was originally approved by the Board of Trustees at U of L. Bradley was the former executive vice president before taking over for his predecessor, Dr. Kim Schatzel. Schatzel led U of L for just over 2 years as president before she suddenly resigned in March 26th of this year. Bradley was appointed shortly afterwards. Earlier today, his inauguration was held at L&N Stadium, drawing a number of guests, including longtime Senator Mitch McConnell.
To be clear, though, this is not a celebration of an individual. It is the celebration of the University of Louisville, a celebration of our present, our past, and our future.
Bradley is the 7th person to become president at U of L in the last 10 years.
Taking this oath, it's not a commitment. It's not a moment for celebration alone. It's a public promise. The office I hold does not belong to me. It belongs to the people. It's good to be back home.
Well, there's a new sheriff in town, David James, making history as Louisville's first African-American sheriff. James and Steve Healy were sworn in earlier today as the new county sheriff and deputy sheriff, and this comes after the passing, of course, of longtime Sheriff John Aubrey. James outlined his main focus centered around 3 key pillars: public safety, service, and stewardship. This includes more investment in training to improve officer wellness and a plan to establish transparency dashboard for the public to see how the department is doing and where it can improve. Healy and James have worked together for over 25 years.
The story we're following new tonight at 5. One Kentucky lawmaker wants ultra-processed foods out of the school cafeterias. You know, we come across these foods every day. They're really all around us.
Sure, absolutely. And he's proposing a mandate to do this that, if passed, would require districts to make changes in just a couple of years.
Our Isaiah Kim Martinez has been looking into this today. And Isaiah, this push is coming from the Trump administration, or is it just starting here locally? What did you find out?
Well, guys, the proposal is in Frankfurt among some Republicans. However, the effort really in itself, this big push, was really born Like Doug mentioned, in Washington, D.C., Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and that Make America Health Again movement. Food dye is in quite a bit of what school kids eat and drink each day.
There's way too much of that stuff in our schools. That is one of the things that I've looked into. It's just been really hard to figure out how to fix that.
JCPS board member Taylor Everett is in full support of a renewed push by some Republicans in Frankfort to rid public school districts in Kentucky of ultra-processed foods.
It's going to be in that energy drink or some kind of high sugar content.
State Representative Stephen Doan of Northern Kentucky plans to sponsor the bill early next year.
So this proposal is part of the Make America Healthy Again Kentucky Task Force platform.
It would require districts to remove food dye and other substances linked to health concerns from school cafeterias and vending machines.
So one of the items that we ban specifically is Red 40.
Fellow school board member Gail Logan Strange says she too wants the healthiest options for students, but worries this kind of proposal won't come with the necessary dollars attached to it. That's as JCPS already deals with a major budget shortfall.
The question would be, if the state does mandate this, does the state legislation plan to fund this and provide us with the budget to cover these costs?
According to Doan, the bill will not include funding, but it also won't specify any penalties if districts don't comply.
There may be some enforcement from KDE or Kentucky Department of Education generally, but there's no provision that a state school would lose funding or we would send kids home or anything like that.
Everett says he's encouraged by the effort, telling us it may give board members some teeth while working with food distributors.
Basically, they know that if there's not much competition, they don't need to change that much, and they can provide the cheapest food. So yeah, if we have a law to back us up to say, look, you have to do this, it helps a ton.
Now, the bill hasn't been filed just yet, but if passed, it would give Kentucky public school districts until the 27-28 school year to make these changes, which includes limiting fast foods in school cafeterias to just 1 day a week. Representative Doan tells me he's based his model off similar initiatives in other states like Arizona and California. Guys.
Isaiah, thank you. This all comes as on Wednesday, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill to make California the first state to ban ultra-processed foods in schools. That law would require any food under this new definition to be banned from schools there starting in 2035. According to the CDC, kids get nearly 2/3 of their calories from ultra-processed foods, which have also been linked to obesity, diabetes, and heart disease.
The government shutdown is officially impacting the paychecks of millions of Americans. We'll have the details when we come back.
The Kentucky Lottery, funding education for over 1 million Kentucky students.